Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is session number 14 in the University of Visayas Gullias Law School Bar Review. And tonight, we have a very interesting topic about unions, how the unions are formed, who are qualified and who are not qualified to join union, to assist union, and to form unions. We will discuss unfair labor practices, we will discuss collective bargaining and strikes. So, this is a very interesting topic. So, if you want to have a copy of my video for tonight, you can just visit my YouTube channel, just type Yusek JBJ and subscribe, comment, and like. Thank you and good evening. Today, we will discuss a very important part of our study. I hope that Dr. Velasco will like this because this is about unions, no? And nung nalaman ko na nandito si Dr. Velasco, naisip ko, hindi kaya maboboard si Dr. Velasco tungkol sa union naman ito. Wala namang union sa UV. But nothing is wrong by opening our horizon to a new reality which is about unions. And we will start our study of unions by remembering the provision of the Constitution. I always remind my students not to take the bar without memorizing Article 13, Section 3 of the Constitution. And if you will look at and analyze the provision of Article 13, Section 3, by the way, the author of this provision is a Cebuano. He is Justice Hilario Davide, the father of our Vice Governor today here in Cebu. No? The author of the provision on social justice and labor, Article 13, is Chief Justice Hilario Davide from Argao. No? So if you look at the provision of the Constitution, there are three rights that are guaranteed. So of all the rights of labor, there are three most important rights. And one is the right to self-organization, which we will define to mean that it is the right of all workers to join, to assist, and to form. Tatlo yun. JAF. The mnemonic device is JAF. To join, to assist, and to form labor organizations for two purposes. One is economic and the other is political. And the next right is the right to collective bargaining. That is really the economic side of unions. There can be no collective bargaining without a union. And so a union is really organized to advance and promote the economic rights of the workers, because without a union, the rank and file would only be depending on the wage order issued by the DOLE or the voluntary grant by management. If management does not want to give an increase, even if you have been there for 20 years, management is not obligated to give an increase over and above the minimum. So, collective bargaining is a mechanism created by law so that the workers will have the right to ask for higher levels of wages and benefits as a matter of right. And if management would refuse, they will have the right to strike. Deadlock in collective bargaining is a ground for filing a notice of strike. So later on, I will tell you the story of the Divine Word University in Tacloban. Why was the Divine Word University abolished or it ceased to exist? It is precisely because of these three rights: the right to self-organization, the right to collective bargaining, and the right to peaceful concerted action, including the right to strike in accordance with law. So our topic tonight is the right to self-organization. So we will first just forget for a while the other rights. No? The other rights, for instance, that are somehow intertwined with the three guaranteed rights is the right to participate in policy and decision making in all matters that pertains to the benefits and the rights of the employees. The Constitution also says that the workers and the employers are duty-bound to promote the principle of shared responsibility through unionism. Responsible unionism and responsible collective bargaining, both sides, the employers and the employees, are given the burden by the state to take charge and share the responsibility of promoting peace, harmony, and productivity in the workplace. And to use preferentially the voluntary modes of dispute settlement, meaning when you are unionized, do not go to the dole immediately. You have to exhaust the grievance machinery which is inside the company. It is a mechanism like a committee, a joint committee between management and the union to settle labor disputes. And the state will enforce their agreement. If they have a collective bargaining agreement, that CBA is the law between the parties, and the government will enforce your own contract once you enter into a contract. And the third part of Article 13, Section 3 is the promise that the state, in the exercise of police power, has the inherent right to regulate. In case the workers are excessive and have gone out of bounds, the state will stop them. When the strike becomes illegal, like what happened to the hospital along Jones Avenue, no? Between Fidel Rosario to Puente Osmeña, there was a community hospital operated by the Protestant church. There was a labor dispute for so long, and the state, acting through the Secretary of Labor, assumed jurisdiction and ordered the strikers to dismantle their picket, go back to work, stop preventing ingress and egress because it is affecting the public. The state regulating the rights. And also, the state can regulate the prerogatives of company. If the company goes on a rampage of terminating employees left and right, no, the state can order stoppage, maintaining the status quo, stop the mass dismissal and termination by assuming jurisdiction over the dispute and calling the parties to the government side, to the dole, and negotiate through conciliation mediation under the auspices of the DOLE and the National Conciliation and Mediation Board. So now here, let us educate ourselves with basic concepts. I know you are familiar with this. When you are born into the world, you are called a person. When you reach the age of 15, you become a member of the labor force. You are a worker. When you are hired by a company, you become an employee. And when you attain the regular status, your level of employment has reached the highest form, the highest status of employment, whether you are rank and file, supervisory, or manager. When you attain a regular status, that is the full blossoming of your status as an employee. Now, the question is, are workers allowed to unionize? No. Persons lang, persons. If you are a person and not a worker, can you join a union? You can only join associations, clubs, societies. Once you become a worker, you can join a union, but not for collective bargaining because you have no employer. Only for mutual aid and protection. So kung yung mga namamaligya o kandila diya sa simbahan sa Santo Niño, maghimo sila organisasyon, samahan ng mga kanang magsayaw o sinulog, maghimo sila og kapunungan, and they call it a workers association. That's okay. But that is not for mutual, that is not for collective bargaining. That is only for mutual aid and protection. When you become regular, that is the full blossoming of the status of the employee. You can join the union and be a part of the bargaining unit. If you are just an employee but not yet regular, if you are probationary, you may be a member of the union, but you cannot be a member of the bargaining unit. So, let us clarify that that concept. All of you, can you see that on your screen? Let us say, for example, that this is a company. Let us call this company ABC Corporation or XYZ Corporation. In that company, there are executives, managers, supervisors, and confidential employees. For instance, the executives are the vice presidents, the managers are the head of the departments, supervisors are the first line, and confidential employees are those that are in the accounting office, in the HR office, in the office of the president, in the office of the vice presidents, personal secretary, executive assistant, and so on and so forth. Now, the rank and file, assuming that there are 1,000 rank and file employees, to form a union in that company, you only need 20% of the 1,000. So you need 200. If you have only 100 employees, you need 20. If you have only 10 employees, you need 2. Two workers can form a union. Now, if you are a part of Union A, assuming Union A has 20 members, Union B has 20 members, Union C has 20 members, Union D has 30 members, and there are 10 who are members of the Iglesia ni Cristo who do not want to join the union. Now, you should understand that the Iglesia ni Cristo are also members of the bargaining unit. So yung salita dyan na abo, can you see that? Abo? Can you see that, Mr. Carion? Can you see that? Okay. So, itong area na ito, from Union A to No Union, yung the lower one half of the circle, this is the abo, appropriate bargaining unit of the rank and file. Sa itaas, not qualified ang confidential to join union, not qualified ang manager, not qualified ang executive, pero ang supervisors are qualified. So they have to form their separate abo. So in one company, it is possible that there are two bargaining units. So kung ang supervisor, 10 lang ang supervisor, ang dalawa, ang duha, pwede mag-form ng union, no? Okay. So going back to the rank and file, may 10 Iglesia ni Cristo. The members of the Iglesia ni Cristo are members of the bargaining unit, but they are not members of the union. So you have to distinguish that, kay daghang kayo na nalilito, no? Iba yung member sa bargaining unit, iba yung member ng union. At to be a member of the union, you have to apply. You will be accepted. You will subscribe to the Constitution and bylaws. Pero to be a member of the bargaining unit, you don't do anything. So how do you become a member of the bargaining unit? Answer. Your position are among those enumerated as members of the abo. So, pareho ra nagmembro ka sa komunidad, pero dili ka membro sa asosasyon. Nakakabagpuyo sa village ninyo, membro ka sa village, pero dili ka membro sa asosasyon, no? Non-member ka, ayaw mo magpa-member. So, that is your right, that is your freedom. Itong mga iglesia, they are forbidden by their religious belief. So, kung may CBA, remember when there is a collective bargaining agreement that will be signed with the management, all the members of the bargaining unit can benefit out of the CBA. Pag sinabing CBA may increase tayong tig 100 pesos sa daily pay natin, effective September 1. That increase will benefit all of them, no? And who will negotiate the CBA? Maglaban ang Union A versus Union B versus Union C versus Union D in a certification election. And the winner will be ang tawag sa winner. Anong tawag sa winner? Ang tawag sa winner ay sole and exclusive bargaining agent, SEBA. Nakuha ninyo? Nakuha nyo? Okay. So union, how do you form a union? To form a union, I will enumerate later on. Ito, I'm just giving you an overview. To form a union, you just have a general membership meeting. Kung dalawa lang kayo, mag-meeting kayong dalawa kasi 10 lang ang membro ng abo. Then magpirma kayo ng Constitution and bylaws. Yan, union na kayo. But to become legitimate labor organization so that you can acquire juridical personality, you have to register with DOLE. Punta kayo sa regional office, magpa-register kayo, magbayad ka ng 50 pesos registration. But once the DOLE issues the certificate of registration, you have now the right to acquire juridical personality. You have acquired juridical personality, parang korporasyon na ni-register sa SEC. So dito sa ang union, hindi nagpaparegister sa SEC, nagpaparegister sa DOLE. Once the certificate of registration is released, then that union becomes LLO. And when the LLO fights another LLO in a CE or certification election, that LLO becomes SEBA, Sole and Exclusive Bargaining Agent. So, kung ang manalo dito ay si Union D, kasi sinuportahan siya ng Union C, sinuportahan siya ng mga no union, nakuha niyang majority, nakipag-coalition siya, so nanalo siya. Union D is now the SEBA. And the SEBA will sit down with management to negotiate with the management for better terms and conditions of employment. And then whatever Union D can get by way of increase signed in a collective bargaining agreement, that CBA will benefit everybody, including his opponents, including yung member ng A, B, C, pati yung mga iglesia, sila lahat. Pero si Union D ngayon, manghihingi ngayon ng bayad from Union C, Union B, and Union A, pati ang mga no union. Anong bayad yon? Ang tawag noon, agency fee. So lahat ng mga sahod ninyo, kayong mga kalaban namin sa politika, kasi natalo kayo, at kayong mga no union, magbigay kayo sa sahod ninyo, deduct yan ng management at i-remit doon sa SEBA, which is Union D. So the winner takes, and that is good for 5 years. Nakita nyo ito? Can you see this duration of CBA? So if our CBA starts in 2001, after 3 years, sa 2003, magni-negotiate tayo, pero economic lang ang i-negotiate natin. Kasi ang political, yung red, is what is called the freedom period. What is a freedom period? A freedom period is last 60 days prior to the expiration of the CBA, kasi 5 years ang CBA. Itong ginawa ni Boy Herrera, taga-Yobe. Niingong mga Tagalog, unsa man ni si Boy Herrera, gilibog-libog man, may nga nung wa man nila himuan ng 6 years para duha nga 3 years. Iya mang giambihas. Giambihas ni Boy Herrera kay nahadlok ang alo TUCP nga kanang ilang mga kumpanya mailog sa KMU. So, iyang gibutang direct first 3 years, after itong 2003, sa tunga-tunga sa 2003, mag-negotiate na og CBA, pero ang in-negotiate lang yung mga increase lang. Alam nyo what is political provision, I will discuss that later on. Then, kung merong challenger, if there's a challenger, if there's another union that wants to challenge the incumbent, pareho kanina, itong si Union D ang nanalo, kung gusto ng ibang union na lumaban na naman uli, no? Natalo na sila sa una, lalaban na naman sila uli, maghintay sila sa tatlong pagkakataon, 2005, 2010, o 2015. That is the only time that another union can question the right of the incumbent to represent the above. No? Is this clear with you? No? Si Boy Herrera, yan ang ibuhat nga giambihas niya kay naingon siya nga kung alo ang union o niya pag abot sa 3rd year makakuha siya og nindot nga increase sa management, inig-election dere sa year 5 makadaog na gid ang alo. Mo na nga kanang gibuhat ni Boy Herrera nga iyang giguba atong provision sa una sa labor code. Ang unang provision sa labor code was 3 years lang tanan. 3 years ang economic, 3 years ang political. Simple lang unta. It was in 1989 nga gi-amend ni Boy Herrera o ni Congressman Veloso sa Leyte ang Labor Code, ang amendment, maunang Republic Act 6715. Republic Act 6715, which took effect in 1989 because the Constitution was amended in 1987. So ang Labor Code kasi was made under the Constitution of 1972. So kay giusob man ang Constitution sa 1987, giusob sad ni Boy Herrera ang Labor Code sa 1989. So ang isa sa mga amendment sa Labor Code mao ni nga 5 years, 3 years. 3 years ang economic, 5 years ang representation issue. Meaning ang election can be done only every 5 years. No oftener than 5 years. So with that, let us now go directly to the concept of membership para madali na ninyo mangutana mo, sir, kinsa may who are entitled to join the union? Who? Ito. Number 1, supervisors. Ang Article 212 kaniadto, ang tawag ngayon 218 kasi dagdagan ng 15. Ang 245, I think, dagdagan ng 10. So, ang Book 5, dagdagan mo ng 10. Ang Book 6, itong 212 ay dadagdagan ng 15. But whatever is the number, hindi yan importante ang number, ha. Huwag kayo ma-confuse kasi di naman kayo nag-aspire na memoryahin ninyo ang mga number. But what is important is the concept. Supervisors as defined by Article 218 na ngayon, paragraph N, those who can effectively recommend the management prerogative to hire, fire, transfer, promote, lay off, discipline, yun. Pag ikaw, recommendatory ka, wala kang final authority to hire, to fire, to transfer, to promote, pwede ka mag-union kasi supervisor ka lang. Kahit ang position title mo, tinawag kang manager, pero wala ka namang authority. Sa mata ng batas, hindi ka manager. Kahit lagyan ka pa ng posisyon na vice president, pero wala kang authority to hire, to fire, to transfer, to promote, to lay off, it is not the title that will govern. It is the function, and not the function that is stated in your job description. It is the function that you actually exercise. You understand that? That is very clear, huh? Now, terminated employees whose employment has been terminated. Kung ikaw, Mr. Carion, dinismiss ka ng management illegally, pinag-initan ka, nag-file ka ng kaso, tinanggal ka ng Monday, nag-file ka ng Tuesday, pagka Wednesday merong certification election, you still can vote. You can vote until there is a final and executory decision finding that the dismissal was legal. Because if there's a pending case questioning the legality of your termination in the eyes of the law, there is still a vinculum that binds you and the company. Pareho lang na sa kuan ba kanang naminyo ka unya nagpa-annul ka while the case is pending decision by the court. You are still married, so you cannot contract another marriage, no? So ang empleyado na tinanggal dahil may burden of proof ay ang management at hindi pa patunayan ng management in a decision that is final and executory na valid ang imong termination, you are still an employee. Therefore, you can vote in a certification election, you can exercise the right to join union, you can even participate in the strike. Is that clear with you? Malinaw ba yan? Basta ang requirement lang dyan, you question the validity of your dismissal. Kasi kung dinismiss ka, hindi mo kinwestiyon ang validity ng iyong dismissal, then you accepted your dismissal as valid, and you have no right anymore. Because by accepting your dismissal, you have excused the company from the burden of proving the validity of your dismissal. So if you resign, di ka naman tinanggalin, nag-resign ka eh, and you resign voluntarily, there was no compulsion, there was no deceit, there was no intimidation. Voluntarily, intentionally, and knowingly, you tender your resignation, you are the one who cut off the relationship, then you can no longer exercise the right to self-organization. But if you were dismissed and you immediately within the prescriptive period, and you have 4 years, no, to question an illegal dismissal case, once you file, you can exercise again your right to self-organization. Aliens with valid work permit. Okay. Kanang mga nagtatrabaho sa Pugo, nagtatrabaho sa mga export processing zone, mga Hapon, mga Koreano, mga dili ingunato. Alam mga dili ingunato na nagtrabaho, provided that dalawa ang requirements, valid work permit under Article 40, and I told you earlier that the DOLE can only give an alien employment permit. Remember the case of General Milling Corporation, Timcom. The DOLE can only give an alien employment permit to non-resident alien if there is no Filipino who is willing, who is competent, and who is available to perform the job. Now, if there is none, so there is an alien employment permit. That employee of coming from another country working here with a valid work permit, and he comes from a country that gives the same right to our nationals and our citizens working in his home country, that is called reciprocity. In international law, and remember, ladies and gentlemen, that in our Constitution, in Article 2 of the Philippine Constitution, the Philippines not only renounces war as an instrument of national policy, but adopts the generally accepted principle of international law as part of the law of the land. Okay? So, if I will ask you in the bar, if I am the examiner, I'll ask you, what are the 2 requirements for an alien to be entitled to the right to self-organization? You state, under Article 40, Book 1 of the Labor Code, that alien, if he is a non-resident alien, must obtain a valid alien employment permit. And under Article 269, dagdagan mo ng 15, no? Yan ang number. Sabihin mo na lang under Book 5 para hindi ka malilito, kasi baka numero magbago-bago. Book 5, that is, when it comes to unionism, that is Book 5. Under Book 5, that alien must be a national or a citizen of a country that grants the same rights to our citizens who are working in that country. Okay? Very clear. Government employees, under Executive Order 181 of the laws that was promulgated by President Corazon Aquino pursuant to the Freedom Constitution, after the EDSA Revolution abrogated the Constitution of 1972, and prior to the promulgation and ratification of the 1987 Constitution, there was a constitution called Freedom Constitution. And under that constitution, there was a revolutionary government with Corazon Aquino as the monarch, and she was authorized by that constitution to legislate. And one of the legislative measures that she came up with was Executive Order 180, granting government employees the right to self-organization. Aside from Executive 111, which is security guards, that is also by President Cory Aquino, granting the security guards the right to join, to assist, or to form unions for mutual aid and protection and for collective bargaining. Iglesia ni Cristo members, under the doctrine of Iglesia ni Cristo, they are prohibited by their own religious faith from joining union. But if they want to violate their own doctrine, their dogma, and they want to join the union, in the case of Alexander Reyes versus Trajano, and in all other related cases, the Supreme Court has very clearly stated that members of the Iglesia ni Cristo are qualified to join, assist, or form labor organizations for mutual aid and protection and for collective bargaining. New employees, even if you are not regular, take note on the first day of your job, you are hired in the morning, at noontime, you can be a member of the union. In fact, even before you become an employee, you can already apply for union membership. Para bang bago ka nagpa-enroll sa UB, nagpa-membro ka muna ng fraternity. No? Hindi naman kailangan yung being an employee as a condition for becoming a union member. Kung ang mga balot vendor nga, pwede sila mag-union Mga nagbibenta ng kandila, pwede sila mag-union. Yung pa, no? So, do not think that you have to be a regular employee to be a member of the union. Maybe as a member of a bargaining unit, you should be regular, as provided in the CBA. If the collective bargaining agreement says that only those whose status are regular as of the signing of this agreement shall be considered a member of the appropriate bargaining unit. Those who will become regular in the future will join us in our abo, in the appropriate bargaining unit. Whether they are members of the union or not, it doesn't matter. Membership of union is different from membership of the bargaining unit, as I have stated earlier. Okay, who are not allowed to join unions? Who are not allowed? Ito meron ako. Yung aking mnemonic device, tingnan nyo #SIN. #SIN. Kaya nyo memoryahin yan. Yan. I-mute yung tao na, i-mute. I-mute ng mga wala mag-lecture. Okay? Ang excluded, HEMASEN. High-level government employees. If you are a government employee and your job grade is equivalent to a bureau director or a chief of a service, legal service chief, HR service chief, high-level government employee ka na, pero pag division chief ka pa lang, you are not yet a high-level government employee, so you can join unions. Now, the other one is, if you are an employee of a cooperative who are also members of that cooperative. Dibawa, si Beko. Doon sa amin sa Dumanog, sa Ronda, magpa-membro ka sa Sibico kasi pa-kuryente, yung connection sa kuryente. Cebu Electric Cooperative 1, Sibeco 1. Membro ka ng Sibeco, pagkatapos gikuha po ka sa Sibeco as an employee. So dalawa na personality mo. When you have two personalities, you cannot join the union because you have conflict. As members of the cooperative, you are the owner of the cooperative. Co-owner ka para kang stockholder and then you are hired by the same cooperative. Conflict ka ngayon. Kung mag-union ka, ang loyalty mo divided. So you are not allowed to join unions. But if you are only an employee, but you are not a member, you can join a union. So it's wrong to say that bawal ang union sa cooperatives. That's a wrong statement. Hindi bawal ang union sa cooperative. Ang pinagbawalan lamang ay ang mga membro ng cooperative na empleyado ng cooperative because of conflict of interest. How can you negotiate with yourself? No? But ito remember, doon sa San Miguel, when I was working with San Miguel, I was also a stockholder of San Miguel. Kasi pag Christmas, bibigyan ka ng 1,000 shares of stock. O di makaipon ka when I retired. Ang dami kong shares of stock So, ibig bang sabihin kung rank and file employee ka, stockholder ka sa San Miguel, hindi ka pwedeng mag-union? No, it does not apply to stockholders. Ang exclusion lang sa cooperative. Anyway, stockholder ka, minor stockholder ka lang. You are not a member of the board. You do not participate in the management of the corporation. So, the evil sought to be avoided does not apply in your case. So, okay lang sa korporasyon, but sa cooperative, bawal. Kasi ang cooperative, yung mga membro dyan, sila yung magdidesisyon policy making sila Pag nag-general assembly ng cooperative, they also participate in an indirect way in the management through the policies that are approved by the general membership. Okay? Managerial employees, I will tell you there are three kinds of managers. I have always mentioned this. Do you know what are the three kinds of manager? The manager under Article 82, Book 3. The manager under Article 218, Paragraph M, Book 5, and the manager under Article 297, Book 6. Ang manager sa Book 3, sa 82, mao ka ng mga manager nga dili ma-entitled sa overtime, dili ma-entitled sa night time differential. Kahit wala silang prerogative to hire and fire, basta membro sila ng managerial staff. Halimbawa, executive assistant siya ni Ma'am Crispy Velasco. Membro siya ng managerial staff pero wala siyang prerogative to hire and fire. Nasa inner sanctum siya ng mga dagko-dagko. So, sa Book 3, qualified siya as manager. Pero pagdating sa Book 5, hindi siya qualified. Bakit? He cannot hire, he cannot fire, he cannot transfer, he cannot promote, he cannot lay off, he cannot discipline. So, mag-amping baya mo in the bar. Baka i-intermix ninyo yan, i-mixture ninyo yung concept ng managerial. Iba ang managerial sa Book 5. Ang purpose dyan na na-classify ka, ang manager dyan is to exclude you from the union. Pero sa Book 3, ang purpose dyan is to disqualify you from overtime, night differential, service incentive leave, holiday pay, lahat na nasa Book 3, Title 2. No? Okay. Meron pang manager sa Book 6. Pagka nagtanggal ka based on loss of trust and confidence, LOTAC, LOTAC, loss of trust and confidence. Dalawa lang klase ang affected dyan, managerial at saka yung highly confidential. Pag managerial ka, dako ka granggo, may mga tao ka under you are managing a unit, at ikaw, pinagtiwalaan ka ng management, matatanggal ka through loss of trust and confidence. Because you violate the trust. Pero yung mga ordinary lang, mga mayokmok lang, walay mga gahom, no? Mga tig, no? Ay wala yan, hindi mo pwedeng tanggalin yan because of loss of trust. Kailangan talagang mahuli mo siyang nagnakaw, nagpalsify, nag-alter ng receipt para matanggal mo siya based on Article 297 for fraud, not for loss of trust and confidence. Iba yun. Iba yung fraud sa loss of trust and confidence. Okay? So, dito tayo sa Armed Forces of the Philippines and Police. No? Isama mo dito sa number 4 yung Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. At saka yung Bureau of Fire Protection. Pag membro ka ng mga ganito, pag empleyado ka, bisag unsay ranggo nimo, bisag ordinaryo ra kang bumbero, dili ka pwedeng mag-union. Pulis ka, dili ka pwedeng mag-union. Mga sundalo, di pwedeng mag-union. Magtayo kayo ng asosasyon, pero dili union, kasi ang union for collective negotiation yan ang sa gobyerno ang tawag collective negotiation, sa private collective bargaining. So, kung ikaw pulis, by the way Bureau of Jail, sinabi ko na, anong kaibahan ng jail at saka prison? Kasi ang prison nasa ang Bureau of Prison nasa Department of Justice. Ang Bureau of Jail and Management ay nasa DILG. So there is a difference. Alam naman ninyo, mga abogado kayo Lisensya na lang kulang nyo, abogado na kayo. Pag jail, hindi pa konbikto, detention pa lang. Hindi ka pa na-imprison, na-detain ka lang because you are waiting for your hearing, hindi ka makabayad ng bail bond, or yung crime mo is non-bailable, qualified theft, or ano. So, nang rape ka, pinatay mo pa. So, hindi ka pwedeng doon ka sa Bureau of Jail, sa jail ka. Pero once you are convicted by final judgment, Bureau of Prison na yan, National Penitentiary, San Ramon, sa Davao, or sa Palawan, Iwahi, Penal Colony, kung saan-saan kadalhin. Iba ang prison sa jail. But what the law exclude is only the jail. The law is silent as to the prison. So what the law does not exclude is deemed included. No? So ang na-mention lang sa Executive Order 180, kung basahin mo, Armed Forces, Police, Bureau of Jail and Management and Penology, Bureau of Fire Protection. Yun lang, 4. Alam na niyo yan. Confidential employees. Tinanong ko yung estudyante ko, what is confidential employees? Sinagot ako, sir, hindi natin pwedeng pag-usapan kasi confidential. Tingnan mo yung estudyante ko sinabi ko explain what is confidential. Sir, i-email ko na lang sa iyo kasi hindi ko pwedeng masabi dito kasi confidential yan. Nako, confidential employee is of two. There are 2 kinds of confidential employee. Tandaan nyo ito Merong confidential that is only related for the products and the service. Limbawa, pinagtiwalaan ka ng San Miguel, ikaw nakakaalam anong formula ng San Miguel beer. That is confidential. But that is not the confidentiality that is excluded from the right to self-organization. Ang confidentiality which is contemplated here, ladies and gentlemen, is the one that is entrusted with data that pertains to labor relations. For instance, ikaw may hawak ng payroll, ang sahod ni Dr. Crispy Velasco. Siyempre, alam mo yung sahod ni Dr. Velasco, alam mo yung sahod ni Attorney Wagas. Kung rank and file ka lang, nalalaman mo ngayon. Manghingi ka ngayon ng mataas na increase sa CBA kasi, si Ma'am Crispy, bakit ganun ang sahod? That is, you are not allowed to join union because you are privy to our labor relations related information. Pero pagka operation, product, services related, that is not the confidentiality that is contemplated by law. Malinaw yan, ha? Wala kang sumasagot, eh. Usaragin katingog, may permi na kong madunggan. Uy, Attorney Wagas, 56 na kabo karon, di man ay kuhaan ng ubang mga tawana. Uy, welcome. Kung di mo gikan mga planeta mo, nalipay lang ko kay gibutang lang sa Facebook, na taga Luzon, na taga Mindanao, no? Unya dili ra mo abli sa ilang video di kita kakita silang naong, no? Si Mr. Ayor kita na ilhan ako sa mga dili ingon nato nga okay. Ano bang nangyari diyan? Paki-mute na nga yan, parang merong masamang espiritu na nakapasok eh. Okay. Pati yung mga tinatawag na airways. Ano yung airways? Ambulant, intermittent, rural workers with no definite employers, itinerant, and self-employed. Para bang sa Negros, yung mga sakada workers na wala sila permanent address. Sa usa ka bulan, ari sila sa Gihulngan, tapos sa sunod, ato na sa Bais. Sige lang na sila o kuan, biyahe-biyahe kay unsay na ipatrabaho sa asinda, trabaho sila. Muna gitawag o kuan, itinerant. Itinerant para nang sila wandering Jew na wala sila permanent address, na wala sila teritoryo. So, pwede po na sila magtayo ng union, but not for collective bargaining, only for mutual aid and protection. Kasi wala man sila permanent na employer with whom sila makipag-negotiate, no? Ay yung mga asosasyon ng mga tubero, asosasyon ng mga limpia-butas, asosasyon ng mga balot vendors, asosasyon ng mga babae na nagtatrabaho sa gabi. Ano yon? Ay yung mga call center. May employer man ang call center ba? Ang answer niya na, it depends upon the timing of the withdrawal. So kung kamo mag-withdrawal mo, klaruhin yung timing, ha? Kasi if the withdrawal was done before the submission of the petition for certification election, then it is presumed to be voluntary. But if the petition for certification election has already been submitted to DOLE, and then the withdrawal comes, that withdrawal will not be entertained anymore because it is presumed to be involuntary. So, your answer would depends upon the timing. So, tanungin kayo, bawal bang withdrawal? Depende sa timing, no? So, yung mga withdrawal ng signature, kasi ang Pilipino talaga madaling pumirma, madali ding mag-withdraw, no? So, kailangan alamin mo kailan ba siya nag-withdraw, no? Ito, ALO versus Enil RC. It is the right of the local union to disaffiliate from the federation as long as the local union is independently registered. Okay. Under the present law, the federation like ALO-TUCP, at merong magtayo ng union dyan sa harap ng UB. Huwag na lang sa UB, magalit si Ma'am Velasco. Sabihin lang sa harap ng UB. Tapos, isang sulat lang yan galing sa ALO. We are granting you a charter. Charter lang under the present law charter. So, by virtue of that charter, you become a juridical personality. Kahit meron dyan 10 lang kayong empleyado, out of 100, 10. Kulang kayo, 10% lang kayo, dapat 20 kayo O 20. Kahit isa nga lang, bibigyan ng charter Yan ang maganda sa bagong batas ngayon. Isa ka lang tao, bigyan ka ng charter. So, what is the purpose? Para magkaroon ka ng juridical personality to file a petition. Ang problema dito, kung wala ka talagang membro, pagka-certification election, talo ka rin. Kasi ang karamihan ng tao buboto ng no union. So, pinahiya mo lang ang sarili mo. But, in the eyes of the law, there is liberality to form a union because of the chartering. The provision now allows chartering. But, yung chartering na yan, when you receive a charter, the only effect of that is authorizing you to file a petition for certification election. But you cannot exercise all the attributes of a juridical personality like to own a property, to sue and be sued. Hindi ka pa. Once na magkaroon ng certification election, you win or you lose, you register yourself. Now, the question, if you are registered as a separate local union and you cut your umbilical cord by disaffiliating from the federation, can you do that? Yes. But if you cut off your umbilical cord but you are not independently registered, so you lose your juridical personality. So, nag-commit ka ng suicide. So, when you disaffiliate, be sure that you are independently registered as a separate juridical entity distinct from the federation. Because if you are just a branch and your juridical personality is attached to the federation and you cut off the link between you and your mother federation, then you have no more existence. Dali bang kung ano yun? Ito. What are the rights of union members? What are the rights of union members? You divide the rights of union members into two. The first right is economic rights. Now, if you look at the present numbering of the Labor Code, that is now Article 250. 250 na yun ngayon. Pero dati, 241. Okay? So, ito, titingnan ninyo, hindi ito sequence. Pag binasa nyo ang Labor Code, iba yung sequence ko Kasi, pinorm ko nga yung mnemonic device Mahirap kaya gumawa ng mnemonic device. So, baliktarin mo. Ang una dyan, paragraph D. Paragraph D. Ang ibig sabihin ng paragraph D, if you are a union member, you have the right to decide to participate in the decision on matters of policy. Halimbawa, the union decides, aalis tayo sa ALO-TUCP, lilipat tayo sa KMU. That is a policy decision. That cannot be decided by the officers alone. The members, if you are a member, you have the right to participate in the decision making in a General Assembly duly called for the purpose. That should be decided in a secret ballot para walang pressure. Hindi pwede yung bibabot silang. Ang union ay magmi-meeting at isusubmit niya yan. Parang plebiscite yan eh. Parang referendum yan. Because sovereignty in the union resides in the membership, not in the officers. So, the general membership retains the policy-making authority. Pagka-policy. Pero kung simple lang decision, hindi na kailangan na mag-member. Halimbawa, bibili lang yung union ng printer, mag-general assembly ka pa, magpa-ratify ka ng membro, bibili ka lang ng printer, bibili ka ng laptop. Pero kung seryoso na, magpalit tayo ng pangalan, magpalit tayo ng, mag-amend tayo ng Constitution and bylaws, increase natin yung number of years ng termino ng ating mga official. Those are policy making which cannot be decided by the members alone. Then, number 2, all members of the union are entitled to be informed. Alam nyo, kung basahin ninyo ang Article 218, kanina pala yung sinabi kong 218, 219 pala yun. Kasi yung 211, ang 211, naging 218 na. So ang 212, yung definition of manager, 212, paragraph M, is 219 na. No? Anyway, ito pag binasa nyo yung 218, meron doong workers' education. Dapat ang lahat ng membro ng union ay bibigyan ng seminar para maintindihan niya ang mga constitution and bylaws, maintindihan niya ang collective bargaining agreement, maintindihan niya yung rights niya and obligation as a union members, as well as his rights and obligation as an employee. That is the duty of the union. Pag nagbayad ang mga union member ng union dues, anong makukuha nila in return? Education, workers' education, at karapatan ng mga membro na i-inform sila. Yung CBL, ano yung CBL? Constitution and bylaws. Ang CBA, collective bargaining agreement, labor relation systems. Siyempre, unions, collective bargaining, strikes, lahat na yan. Okay. Pangatlo, hindi pwedeng magdagdag ng qualification para mag-opisyal. Halimbawa, gustong suluhin ng mga original members ng union, ang leadership, lalagyan nila doon ng qualification na kailangan 10 years kang membro ng union bago ka makatakbo ng presidente. Tama ba yon? The answer is no. Because unionism must be democratic. All members in good standing, even if he is only 1 month member, he is qualified to vote and to be voted upon. Any additional qualification would negate the very nature of democratic unionism, and it violates the political rights of union members as provided in Article 250, formerly Article 241 of the Labor Code as amended. I always remind you, ladies and gentlemen, when you take the bar, you always mention the law. Pagka sumagot kayo sa bar at wala kayong citation, edi nag-express lang kayo ng opinion. Pagka binigyan kayo dito ng tanong, no? Bigyan kayo ng problema. Nagdagdag sila ng qualification. He must be a graduate of the College of Law. Is that qualification valid? The answer is no. Sabihin nyo, according to Article 250 of the Labor Code, no? Particularly, paragraph C. It is precisely forbidden to add qualifications in order to limit the numbers of employees who could qualify. That kind of imposition is not allowed by law. In fact, it is prohibited. No? So, pag nagsagot kayo, lagyan nyo ng according. Kasi kung wala kayong according, sasabihin lang ng examiner, nanghula ka lang eh. Nanghula ka lang. Pero pag sinabi nyo, pag tungkol sa union, sir, hindi ko ma-memorize yung article number. Sir, hindi naman ako, wala naman akong photographic memory. Pornographic memory lang ako, sir. Eh. Okay, di mo memorize ang number. Sabihin mo lang, ma-memorize mo yung book number. If it is about unionism, you always mention book 5. According to book 5 of the Labor Code as amended, that is acceptable. Pero hindi ka makakuha ng perfect score. Hindi ka maging top-notcher kasi hindi mo sinite yung article number. Kung makita mo yung libro ng mga top-notcher, pag binasa mo yung notebook ng mga top-notcher, alam nyo, kompleto, pati yung decided cases. As decided by the Supreme Court in the case of the Vinewood University versus Secretary of Labor. Ganon. In fact, when I took the bar, first Sunday, political law, that is just 2 weeks after the Supreme Court in Bank came up with the decision of Habiliana versus Executive Secretary. Kasi kumuha ko ng bar 1974, bago ang Constitution, bago ang Labor Code. So, ang unang tanong, the validity of the Constitution of 1973. Well, ang yabang ko talaga, ako lang taga-UB mayabang, hinabi ko doon. According to the Honorable Supreme Court, in the case of Habiliana versus Executive Secretary, open quotation, there is no more judicial obstacle to the new constitution being in full force and effect. Close quotation. Nako, 92 ang nakuha ko sa political law. 92. Kasi pag kumuha kayo ng bar, yung first 5 questions, ayusin nyo. Pag nakuha na ninyo nakuha na ninyo talaga, na-convince na nyo examiner, believe na sa sa'yo. Magaling ang English, magaling ang penmanship, very logical, meron kayong basis sa answer nyo, there's no reason why you will not pass the bar. Pero maadto mo sa bar, puro lang mo ampo mo Ginoo nga. Tabangin mo Ginoo, ikaw na'y bahala. Ang Ginoo mo ay mo patunon. Pareho itong taga-Yobe, ni Adto sa Manila, ang Kuhag Bar. Ito tinuod na yung story na ito. Dr. Velasco, are you listening? Alam mo, Dr. Velasco, meron taga-UB pumunta sa Manila para kukuha ng bar. Ang ginagawa niya, araw-araw, dalawa sila, magkapatid sila, ang babae, dyan sa UB, cum laude, gumraduate sa Commerce, cum laude, sa College of Law, cum laude, kumuha sa bar, sabay ng manghod niya. Ang manghod niya, palahubog. Pero yung palahubog niyang manghod, pagdating sa Maynila, walang ginawa, nas kwarto, nagbasa ng libro. Yung libro ko pa ang binasa niya. Ngayon, yung babae, yung cum laude, araw-araw nasa Quiapo, nagdasal sa Quiapo. Sabi, Lord, tulungan mo ako na makakuha ko ng maganda, makapasa ako dito kasi inaasahan ako sa pamilya namin. Itong manghod ko, wala na pag-asa. Kung makapasa ba na, basta ako lang yung taon, siguruha lang, Lord. Siguro ko niya yung kugalingon. Araw-araw gina, Dr. Velasco, niya namukhaan man siya noong kuhan, sakristan. Sabi ng sakristan, araw-araw itong babae na ito niya, malakas na ba magdasal? Madungog mo ba? Na naiyon sakristan, ako guning binuangang bayana. Nisaka ang sakristan to sa likod sa altar. Pag-ingon sa babae, Ginoo, tulungan mo ako, Panginoon. Sumagot ng sakristan, umuwi ka at maswerte ka. Ba, gumanda yung pakiramdam ng babae, bumalik doon sa kanilang kuwan, sa kanilang boarding house. Tapos pinamalita, alam mo, sinagot ako ni Lord, ha? Makapasa na tingali ako kaning bar, pasaryo ko ani. Nanayong sa mga boardmate niya. Hindi naman sinabi ng Panginoon makapasa ka, sinabi lang swerte ka. Klaruhin mo, you should ask for a bill of particulars. So bumalik siya doon simbahan. Sabi na, Lord, klaruhin, God ka nang marinig ko God sa mga labi mo ba nga, makapasagi ko ba? Sabi ng sakristan, sinabi ko sa iyo kahapon na maswerte ka, pagkatapos bumalik ka pa ngayon, wala kang tiwala sa akin. Ano nga yung meaning na maswerte? Maswerte ka nga ako, gikalansang pa ko sa krus, kasi kung hindi ko gikalansang, tingaling mapatiran di ka, ano, araw-araw, sige lang kagluhod din wag yung ka magtuon. Unsa may gusto nimo, ako mo magtuon para nimo. Alam mo, Dr. Velasco, ang nangyari niyan, yung babae nga cum laude hindi nakapasa. Yung kapatid niya na nilalait niya na palahubog kayo, siya mo nakapasa. Kaya nga ang moral of the story, you cannot pass the bar if you only pray. You do not work hard. Yan sinasabi. 99% perspiration and 1% divine intervention. 1% lang. No? 99 talaga perspiration. Kadi mang yung katabangan sa Ginoo, basta di ka mga ninguha. Mauna kong isulti nyo. Naintindihan ba ninyo ako? Okay. Balik tayo dito. Lahat na yan, ha? Hindi ko na ipaliwanag yan. Ang sabi ng election of officers should be direct, secret ballot, and every 5 years. Take note, ha? Yung CBA, 5 years sa political issue. Election of officers of the union, this is an intra-union dispute. Certification election is an inter-union dispute. So ito, ang term ng officer must be subjected to the scrutiny of the members every 5 years. Every 5 years, ha? Di ka pwedeng forever ikaw ang officer. Walang forever. You should submit to the democratic process of election. No? And then, ang election should be secret ballot. Secret ballot. Ni pwede yung biba botse. Ni pwede, sir. Sabi, 10 lang naman tayo dito, mag-eleksyon tayo, gagawa pa tayo ng balota. No, the law does not distinguish. It should be secret and it should be direct. Hindi pwedeng by delegate. Hindi pwedeng, halimbawa, merong isang malaking korporasyon, pareho ng San Miguel, nationwide yan eh. Tapos merong union na will encompass different branches of San Miguel. Hindi pwedeng mag-delegate lang, mag-elect lang tayo ng delegate, taga Mandawi, patos Manila, at mo mag-eleksyon dito. No! It should be by direct voting. Kahit Philippine Airlines, pag union sa Philippine Airlines, direct voting talaga. There is really a ballot box in every branch. And it should be secret ballot. No? Yan. Okay. Ito mahirap itong sa economic kasi kanina political eh. Ito economic eh. The salaries of officers of the union, no, should be authorized by the Constitution and bylaws or by a resolution by the General Assembly in a meeting duly called for the purpose. So hindi pwedeng ang union, ang officer ng union is entitled salary from the union. Kung empleyado ka ng UB, magtayo kang union, may sahod ka sa UB, may sahod ka rin sa union. That is not double compensation because you have two employers. The union is also an employer. And that's why the Constitution should clarify if you will be given allowance or salary, you cannot legislate or kayong mga board of directors maggawa kayo ng decision giving yourself a salary. That is not allowed. That is ultra virus. You do not have the power to give yourself salary. It is only the general membership through the constitution and bylaws or through a resolution duly called for the purpose, a resolution in a general assembly duly called for the purpose. Tama ha, mga books of account must be audited, no? Accounting true and correct. Kailangan hindi lang totoo, kailangan tama. Kasi, Ma'am Crispy, iba pala yung true sa correct. Na-realize mo yan, Ma'am Velasco? Iba yung true kasi. Tinuod nga kanang financial statement, tinuod na. Pero dili correct kay sayop man pag-compute. Na sayop pag-compute, hindi correct, pero true na yan ang ating financial statement. So, ang sinabi ng Labor Code is very clear. It should be true and it should be the correct accounting according to the generally accepted principles of accounting and auditing. Kita mo ha? Very strict. Alam mo kasi, ladies and gentlemen, ang pag-awayan sa union, dalawa lang eh. Dalawa lang talaga pag-awayan, Ma'am Crispy. Dalawang P, power at saka pera. Tandaan nyo yan ha, kahit anong asosasyon ha, mag-away, magkapatid, mag-away. Dalawang P, power and pera. Yung mag-boyfriend, mag-away din yan, P din ang pag-awayan yan. Ano yan? Pag-ibig. No? Mag-away, tatlo lang ang pag-awayan natin sa mundo, Ma'am Crispy. Pag alisin mo yan, wala na tayong pag-awayan. Alisin mo yung pera, alisin mo yung power. Power lang ang pera, pag-awayan natin. Ganon din dito. Kaya kanina, yung pinaliwanag ko sa inyo, political, ang pinag-usapan sa politika ay power. Dito sa financial, ang pinag-usapan dito ay pera. Kaya ang ginagwardyahan ng Labor Code sa union, that's why the Secretary of Labor has the power to visitorial power over the unions. They can inspect the books of account of the union to make sure that the money are not being diverted by the union official to the damage and prejudice of the union members. So when the state afford full protection to labor, it also contemplates of labor being subjected to injustice by the union itself. When the union is the protector of labor, if the protector becomes the oppressor, the state shall afford full protection to labor against the abuses of the union. Alam mo, sa mga paliwanag ko dyan, iwan ko na lang. Ito, additional. When you are a union, kanina, itong dalawa, itong dinner at saka itong star nun, these are the rights of union members. Tandaan nyo ha, union members as against the union. Pero ito, this is the right of the union as against the world, against management. Once you are a union, you can own property. Ang maganda dito, Ma'am Crispy, sa union, exempted sa tax. All forms of tax, gift tax, donation tax, lahat ng tax, exempted ang union. Provided it is actually directly and exclusively used for union purposes, lawful purposes. So, kung halimbawa yung sasakyan mo, Ma'am Crispy, i-register mo yan sa pangalan ng union, wala nang tax yan, wala nang babayaran, kahit registration, libre yan. Kahit sa merong kapatid sa US, padala yung kotse dito, walang custom duties, they are exempted from tax because the state gives its full support to unions because unionism is an instrument of empowerment of the workers. When the workers are unionized, they cannot be oppressed and exploited because they are strong, they are cohesive, they are united, and they have collective power, collective strength against the resources, the influence, and the money of management. That's why the state really, as parents patri, as guardian of the interest of the working class, the state encourages workers to form a union. Kung ang management nagdadasal na walang union sanang gagawin, ang state, through the government, through the Department of Labor, must promote unionism. Alam mo, kung akong Secretary of Labor, yung regional director ng DOLE, ang performance appraisal ko dyan, ganito yan. Ilan ang union ang na-organize sa loob ng isang buwan sa administrasyon mo? When you submit your report, yan ang KPI mo, yan ang key results area mo. Titimbangin kita. Are you doing your job? Are you going around the factory and encouraging the workers to unionize? Kung hindi siya patay ng employer, kung niyang gagawin. But that is the duty of DOLE. That is the duty of DOLE. Kasi nasusulat yan na kailangan to promote unionism. Yan. Marami akong mnemonic device, no? So I will tell you the story of Divine Word University before we dismiss tonight. Divine Word University was the biggest and most prestigious university in Region 8, not just in Leyte but also in Samar, the island of Biliran, which is now a province, and southern Leyte. Kasi alam mo naman ang Region 8 is composed of 3 provinces of Samar and 3 provinces of Leyte. Ano yung 3 provinces of Leyte? Leyte, Southern Leyte, and Biliran. Ano yung 3 provinces sa Samar? Eastern Samar, Northern Samar, and Samar. Samar lang, no? So, yung 6 na yan, ang pinaka-center ng education niyan, Divine Word University. Diyan gumraduate si Imelda Marcos Romualdez. Isang araw, ang taga-ALO nag-organize ng union. Alam mo ang nag-organize yan? ALO, Associated Labor Union. Sino ang pasimuno niyan? Ngayon, congressman na. Congressman Vicente Veloso, 3rd District of Leyte. No? Kapatid yan ni Chairman Alberto Veloso sa NLRC. At nagiging Court of Appeals yan, naging professor ng labor law sa Ateneo. Ngayon, retired na. Dating commissioner ng NLRC yan. Magaling yan. Magaling yan. Si Ching Veloso. Siya yung professor doon sa Divine Word University. So, siya yung kinausap ng ALO na magtayo tayo ng union. So, sa madalit sabi, a union was formed in Divine Word. For the first time, takot ang mga pari, magka-union ngayon. So, they registered with the, alam mo naman ang ALO, very influential yan sa DOLE. Kasi Boy Herrera, Quito Mendoza, mga Seno, matitigas ang mga leaders ng ALO no? Mga congressman yan senador. So, registered kaagad. At saka, kompleto requirements Ngayon, file ng petition for certification election. Nanalo. Walang kalaban. Pinagpilian lang ng mga empleyado union or no union. Yun lang, dalawa lang. Walang challenger na union So, madali lang manalo. So, nanalo ngayon. Once the union is certified as dalawa na ang certification ng union. Certificate of Registration as LLO, yung pinakita ko sa inyo, LLO. Pangalawa, Certificate of Registration as SEBA. Can you see that? That is not the solar system. That is the metamorphosis from the time you are born up to litigation. That is the story of labor relations. Starting from number 4, red. Yang white, labor standards yan. Labor standards yang white. Pagdating sa pula, green, blue, at saka yellow, labor relations yan. So, once the Union of Divine Word University was certified, nag-certification election, another certification, certificate as SEBA. Wala na, naputol na naman. JP, walang internet. Bakit nawala ang internet?
Connect ka doon.
Ha?
Meron naman dito. Teka lang. May internet ba kayo dyan? Wala namang gumagamit. Kumakain kami.
Oh, ito.
Nadi-disconnect.
Ba't ba ngayon lang nangyayari yan?
Siguro dahil mahina yung signal dito. Open na lang natin to dahil.
Okay, open mo. Okay. Hello? Hello? Ito na lang. Last na lang ito. Hindi na ako mag-share. Hindi na ako mag-share para madali na ito. Ikuha na natin. Buksan na natin katotohanan. Buksan na natin mukha natin kasi magpipicture na si Attorney Wagas eh. Ilalagay niya yan sa Facebook eh para makita ng lahat. 56 tayo ngayon. 56. No? Okay. So, I will continue the story of Divine Word. Sa madalit sabi, nanalo yung union. And once there is a certification that the union has become a SEBA or sole and exclusive bargaining agent, management has the duty to bargain. Take note of that, duty to bargain. And if you have the duty to bargain and you fail and you refuse to bargain, anong tawag niyan? That is unfair labor practice. Refusing to bargain when you have a duty to bargain, that is unfair labor practice. So, yung mga pare, ayaw nilang kilalanin ng union kasi parang hindi nila makapaniwala, hindi sila makapaniwala na sa maganda nilang samahan dyan sa Divine Word University, bakit magtayo ng union? Kasi ang traditional kasing thinking, Ma'am Crispy, pagka halimbawa, Ma'am Crispy, magkaroon ng union sa UB, di ba? Mas mahiubos ba ng mga gulyas ba, Dr. Crispy, di ba? Di ba? Oh, mausa na itabo dito sa Divine Word University, nahiubos tong mga pari. Yung mga pari, giadto sa kada balay ba, house to house nga, pa-withdrawon sa union niya, di naman mo-withdraw ang mga tao kaya nahinayak naman. So, kailangan there's a duty to bargain. And management, ito this is the mistake. Kasalanan ng abogado ito. Sa galing ng abogado nila, under the law, you have to answer the letter of the union within 10 calendar days. 10 calendar days. And failure on your part to answer within 10 calendar days. Ano nangyari? That is refusal to bargain. And refusal to bargain is unfair labor practice. And unfair labor practice is a ground to file a notice of strike. Sa madalit sabi, there was a strike. There was a strike. And then, umabot yan 2 buwan, walang klase. Tuwang-tuwa ang mga estudyante. Alam mo nung araw, mga estudyante tuwang-tuwa pag walang klase. So, hindi pareho ngayon na nalulungkot ang mga estudyante pag walang klase. So, the Secretary of Labor, Benvenido Laguisma, assumed jurisdiction. Once a strike or a dispute is assumed, what is the effect of the assumption? there is an automatic return to work order. All the workers must return to work, and management must accept all the workers under the same terms and conditions prior to the strike. Okay, the question that was decided by Laguisma, which was appealed to the Supreme Court, there are 3 questions. First question, was the strike legal? Second question, did management commit unfair labor practice? And the third question is, if management fails to answer within 10 calendar days, what is the effect of that failure? Okay. Laguisma decided in favor of the union. Laguisma said the strike was legal. Management was guilty of ULP, unfair labor practice. And the effect of not answering within 10 calendar days means that all the demands of the unions are considered accepted by management. Inapil yan. Alam mo ang irony niyan? Irony, this is irony. Ang Catholic institution, Divine Word University, napunta sa justice na si Florida Roth Romero, isang protestante. Ito si Florida Roth Romero, ito yung legal advisor ni Tita Cory. Alam mo naman si Tita Cory, ayaw niyang lalaki mag-advise sa kanya. So yung profesora ng UP ito labor law pa ang specialization ito, si Flery. Si Flery, namatay na eh. Tapos ginawa niyang advisor, bago matapos yung term ni Tita Cory, ginawa siyang justice ng Supreme Court. At doon napunta sa kanya, and Justice Florida Roth Romero affirmed in toto the decision of Secretary Laguisma. Number 1, the strike was legal. Management committed unfair labor practice when it failed to answer within 10 calendar days because such failure was tantamount to refusal to bargain. And number 3, that failure to respond was tantamount to accepting all the demands of the union. So, that means all the assets of the university will now go to the union. Kaya nagsara yung Divine Word University kasi dapat ang tag-iya na Associated Labor Union na eh. Pero ang nangyari dyan, ito katawa-tawa. When I was Undersecretary of Labor, ako na ngayon yung mag-implement ng desisyon. And during the hearing, for purposes of execution, anong discover namin? Yung palang lupa dyan sa Divine Word University, hindi pala yan owned by Divine Word University. It is owned by the diocese, the Archdiocese of Palo, Leyte. So, ang may-ari niyan, paano mo ngayon i-execute yan? How can you execute a decision against a party who has never been impleaded, who has not given its day in court? Can you imagine? Can you execute the judgment against the Archdiocese of Palo, which is not a party to the case? Yan ang problema ngayon. Alam mo, kung ako ang bar reviewer, yan ang itatanong ko, yung Divine Word University. At saka maganda ngayon Ma'am Crispy, mabuti na nandito ka. Bakit? Because there is a decision of UP versus Calleja. University of the Philippines versus Calleja. Who is Calleja? Calleja is the director of the Bureau of Labor Relations. She was the one who ordered the certification election. Kasi ang UP, after the EDSA Revolution, nagtayo ang UP ng union na tinatawag nilang All UP. Anong All UP? Kinumbay nila yung mga non-teaching personnel sa teaching personnel, academic plus academic, minix nila ngayon lahat. Ang sabi ni Calleja, okay lang yan because it is the purpose of the law to unite all the workers. But when the Supreme Court decided that case, UP versus Calleja, the court said you cannot mix the non-teaching personnel with the teaching personnel. You cannot combine apple with oranges. You know why? Because of the principle of homogeneity. The members of the appropriate bargaining unit must be homogeneous. They must have the same interest. They must have the same, there is commonality of interest. Even if the people wants to unite, they are not supposed to unite because they are oil and water. Pwede mo bang pagsamahin yung ibon at saka isda? Sige, tanungin ko kayo, pagsamahin nyo ng ibon at isda. Hindi yan pwede kasi iba ang objective ng mga, iba ang interest ng mga faculty sa interest ng mga non-teaching. So ang sabi ng Supreme Court sa UP versus Kaliha, you have to separate. So ang mangyayari dito ngayon, 4 ang bargaining unit sa isang universidad. Isang supervisory na non-teaching at isang rank and file na non-teaching. Dalawa na. Isang supervisory faculty, isang rank and file na faculty. 4 ang bargaining unit. Sa bawat bargaining unit, pag nakakuha ka ng 20%, pwede ka na magtayo ng union. Iparegister mo legitimate labor organization. Pag nanalo ka sa certification election, sole and exclusive bargaining agent. Pag nagpadala ka ng sulat sa management at hindi ka sinagot, that is refusal to bargain, and that is a violation of the duty to bargain collectively, which is tantamount to unfair labor practice. You have the right to file a notice of strike.